Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Good morning, everybody, and I'd like to thank Dr. Merin and Dr. Robin for giving me the opportunity to present among professionally qualified researchers. I didn't know what to call myself, so I just said independent researcher. And with that, I begin my presentation. And I have a Facebook page called Anglo-Indian Stories. I run a Facebook page called Anglo-Indian Stories. Okay, I'm going to skip this part because the Anglo-Indian community started when the Portuguese traders came in. This community came into being. Next, please. Okay, I started Anglo-Indian Stories. Well, I was looking to have an archival exhibition. I like old photographs, and I wanted to do something for the community and something for myself, not the community. I really wanted to explore some art, put a photography exhibition or something. And I went online looking for people, asking for photographs. Somebody said we lost them, and and I was like, okay, let me go online. I'll meet some people and ask them. And there was no serious online space. Please correct me, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't find any. I didn't find a serious online space where I could talk to Anglo-Indians who were serious about their culture. And I said, okay, I'll create a small presence and try to connect to people who are serious about it and who will give me some photographs. That's the initial intention. And that's when I started Anglo-Indian Stories on Facebook. It's nearly a year now, a year and a few months old. And like I said, I have 792 followers in India. I'm hoping to get more by this afternoon. And Australia, United Kingdom, you have. So I have an audience, and women more by 2% the age group. So you have this data on Facebook, which I like. It's a good research tool if you want to do more. Next, please. And then I have an Instagram account because I like to, I like the younger generation to keep up with me, and I like Instagram more. And my Instagram account has lots more serious followers. I have William Dalrymple following me. I have Rana Safavi following me. I have Intact following me. Us. I don't say me because us. We have. So they're serious. And I said, really? People so interested? And I said, yeah. That means there was no serious space. Next, please. So I have him there. And this is also a part where you can see which post is engaging more for the researchers out here. So I have, okay, 128, 53, that wasn't doing too well. World Anglo-Indian had 1.5K, people reached, and 250 engagement. That means they were sharing it. They were, putting it on their page. Next, please. And actually now what I did is Anglo-Indian Stories is now a collaborative project. It's no longer it was started by me, but now I have two amazing resource people, one sitting Melisha Hayden in London and Kerry Edwards in Australia. And they also post with me as well, and we're trying to get more people to bring out more of their personal narratives out here, and it just so happened we're lucky that she's in London and he's in Australia, so it's like we are present in all three different places where the Anglo-Indian population is high. And what is our content? We mainly concentrate on the community's contribution to India, identity, traditions, memories, the British Raj, culture, literature, miscellaneous, and literature, there are free downloads available on archive.org of Frank Anthony's book, which is 2,000 rupees on Amazon. So, that's the kind of thing I do and put it up. And I say, okay, download Stark's book. It's out of print, but you can download it on archive.org. And we also do reviews of some books and memories. Please go online and check out our stories. We have some stories which are way too emotional, some stories which you can't imagine, some stories which make me question. Like, for example, the Britishers didn't pay some Anglo-Indian soldiers. And Melisha tells me the status of her family came down because they didn't have money and they borrowed money from Afghani money lenders. Something to think about. So the story leads me to other stories, to ask other questions. Okay, these are some of how I do, the stories that we run. This is Melisha's grandfather and grandmother. Her second husband, her first English husband deserted her, second husband here. This is a photo from McCluskey Gunj. Malcolm Horrigan shared it with me, and he wrote an article. And then we profiled some of the sports people, Leslie Claudius and Vanessa Byrne. She's currently a singer. So, just try to keep it going. And crowdsourcing as research methodology. So what is crowdsourcing? It's actually a technical word that was used by Jeff Ho in 2005. He's editor of Wired magazine. He used it mainly in context of technology. But now in context of social media, we crowdsource stories. I put it out. I put out my intention and then people write back. I say, okay, Anglo-Indian community, I need some stories, get back to me. So crowdsourcing is a continuation of the long-standing tradition of inviting the public to contribute on a volunteer basis. This definition suits my type of work. So I'm not giving you Jeff Howe's definition, but another one which suits the project. Now, what are the challenges? I face challenges when I'm researching all the time. One is reaching out to a dispersed community. Just this morning, all of you were talking, and I nodded in agreement. Reaching out is very difficult, and some of the people, some of the greatest memories of this community are aged people, are senior citizens who might not be very, very tech savvy. So how do I do it? Second thing is lack of personal contact. Sometimes I have this person called Mohammed Beg write in to me, say, you know what, I know an Anglo-Indian lady who passed off as Turkish and married a Nawabi's descendant. And I want that story. And he's in Hyderabad, my hometown. So he sent me an email and we were supposed to meet. I went to Hyderabad, I didn't meet him because I had other commitments. And later on I came to know he passed. And I was like, and he was going to introduce me to the lady. And I was like, I lost a story there. And convincing people to go online. Some people are like, I'll tell you the story, but please don't go online. And invasion of privacy, some people are very private. No, we don't want it to be online. It could be misused. Acknowledging Indian ancestry, I have this. A lot of people say, oh no, we're not going to acknowledge that we are Indians. Those Indians, I have that problem. This is what I added this morning, online research as ephemeral. It's just going. And for me, it's serious. I'm trawling the web looking for stories and I'm calling people. I'm doing field research, sitting at home and, calling people, writing to them, sometimes meeting them if they are in Delhi, where I am from. But as we said, it's just so, social media is just like poof. And veracity of content. Sometimes now somebody is giving me a story and it's a family history. There's a lot of folklore in family history. What do? I just take it as it is. But now this is another research problem with crowdsourcing. Then copyright and ownership issues, who owns the photographs? It's my photograph, I don't want anyone to use it, but if I put it on social media, it's going to be used at some point. So I have that. Collaborations. Now I like to collaborate with people. If someone is interested, I'll make them an admin on my page and they can also start to put up content. I'm very open-minded that way, but we have to think along the same lines. I don't want it to have like the content that's irrelevant to the page. And motivation. Last but not the least, how do I keep myself motivated? I have nothing I will not be getting a PhD at the end of it. So sometimes satisfaction, passion is all fine, but at the end of it, what am I getting? It's like I spend 2-3 hours a day. So, but how do I keep myself motivated? It's like, then I'll call Melisha in London and say, hey, and then we'll talk and keep ourselves motivated that way. So that's also a key issue here. Opportunities, we appreciate your identity better. People who read, they say, really? Some people who just have ancestry, like whose grandfather was Anglo-Indian, somebody like Uta, a young guy. He says, I really appreciate my identity better. Gaps in community history, sometimes I find, okay, so did the British really left the Anglo-Indians here? Why didn't they pay the British Anglo-Indian soldiers? We have questions coming up. What happened to the native women Why is their history not recorded? How can we get sources to say personal history projects are relatable? I have people community members, researchers, everybody on the page. So we are going behind what is, academically and popularly recorded about Anglo-Indians. You'll read these stories and you'll be like, really? And there's a community pride. Some people will write in and say, wow, this is, and then network between community members and researchers, it happens. And also between family members. There's this girl from Vizag, she sent me this, from the US. And it was such a bad picture. I said, I don't want to put up this picture. And I tried to, I said, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, I just put it up. And that picture had 53 comments. And they were like, oh, we know you. And there's family connection made in the comments section. And I should have tracked it, but I didn't. But all I knew is everyone's happy that they met each other online on Anglo-Indian stories. And helping members find their Indian roots. Kerry Edwards helps with this. Because a lot of people write into me, and I don't like saying, I don't know. So Kerry Edwards, in his own little way, tries to help with people who write in. Easier access to heritage for younger members. They are on Insta, so they know. My own personal identity, because I'm on the, we never acknowledge my Anglo-Indian identity. In fact, we said we weren't Anglo-Indians, but I spoke English at home. I listened to Jim Reeves. I ate yellow rice and ball curry. So then why am I not? And then my dad said, you're black Portuguese. I was like, what? What's this black Portuguese? I thought my dad was joking until I read, Muthaya's book. There is a term called black Portuguese. So, and feedback and comments as learning. I get a lot of feedbacks and comments, and then I learn so much more. Like, for example, see, Vincent D'Souza writes, I'd be curious to know more on the Portuguese line, the Malabar or Goa or Santhome. And, and there you get another comment saying, wow, an amazing family, what a rich culture. Just, I put this comments because I got one a question and one sort of a nice comment. I'd like to thank IIT Department of Humanities, IIT and Social Sciences, IIT Chennai, Anglo Inc., New Zealand Research Institute, to all of you, and definitely my followers on to our followers on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you.